Hey guys, and welcome to today's video on how to find, negotiate, and vet both AliExpress and Alibaba suppliers. I'm just going to break it down. There's a Google Doc. It'll be in the description. Just do it as you see fit. Okay. Now I just wanted to show you, this is the store that's running using this exact sort of strategy. Everything I sort of teach in the channel, from marketing, store, automation, all of that. Right now, today is a bit of an outlier day. I can't deny that's a very impressive conversion rate, right? As you can see, up 83%. And if I have a look at the last 7 days, you can see sales, right? And I think that the spend is on average a couple hundred a day. I've got a video coming up on a scaling strategy on Facebook. I'll be sort of talking a bit more about that. You can see, like, for instance, yesterday was a lower day, conversion rate was good. And that, that's, I wonder if I'll actually get that today. Anyway, who knows? But as you can see, it peaks and it troughs. And you can see it's just sort of updated there anyway. Anyway, let's get into it, right? In order to get these sales, the reason I wanted to show that is to get these sales, right, you need to fulfill your product, right? So let's go into the doc on how you go about doing that and the psychology behind it, right? There's a lot of psychology behind it. I've done this many times and failed significantly many times. And I want you to avoid all the very stupid mistakes that I made that were stemmed from arrogance, conceit. One of the things I should be clear, right, is that as a drop shipper, where I started is one of the problems with that. The culture in that space is very all about me type culture, right? And so when I go through this doc, you'll be learning. I want you to move outside of that framework where at the end of the day, you want more friends in your corner, okay? So one of the problems that I just have to personally say that with dropshipping, I think it's a fantastic space to start, but a lot of the time it's all about, it becomes, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? Whereas when you're negotiating, finding, vetting suppliers, you don't go like that, right? It off-puts people. So I'm going to teach you a bit about that. That's just one of the big things that I've learned. I wanted to say that'll be a key underpart of this entire video that I'll teach. As I said, the Google Docs down below, use it as you see fit. Let's get straight into it. All right, great. So we're just in this doc. As I said, the doc down below, download it, whatever you want to. This is a sort of an updated version from my 2024 one for me with my channel, even though I don't get many views. That was a video that got a lot of views. So I was like, when people wanted more of it, I'm like, yes, thank you. Hopefully I get a couple of subscribers. Anyway, moving on. So firstly, I just need to sort of discuss the difference between AliExpress and Alibaba. Just for those who may not understand, fundamentally they're the same company, but one, right, is AliExpress is more for individual purchases. You can buy multiple, of course, but it's more geared towards individual purchases. So let's say my wife wants to go buy something, might see something on Facebook, she'll go on AliExpress, or even actually now Temu, and maybe go purchase it, right? Whereas you wouldn't do that on Alibaba because you buy in bulk, okay? So you purchase a lot of items, but they're separate orders. If you get many orders, you can work with a supplier to get bulk order discounts. So you can get bulk order discounts as in, you might get like 5%, 10%. It really depends on your orders and the supplier. At the end of the day, they have their margins too. And a lot of them, it's very important that you understand, a lot of them are actually agents. So you really want to try and get through the agents to the supplier. And that's why I'm trying to teach a bit about this, because you want to go straight to the warehouse. That's the connection that's the most valuable. If you want to look for a fulfillment agent, you can use tools like Upwork and stuff where they charge you and they actually go around and help with that too, which can be very invaluable if you don't want to go there. But in this case, I always just try and go straight to the supplier. This is a popular platform, so AliExpress for dropshippers, we all sort of know this because they can sell anything without needing inventory. The downside is the shipping times can be 2 to 6 weeks, right? That doesn't sound like much, but if you look at tools like Amazon, and even if I buy some things, I've bought some things here in Australia, and depending on the cutoff time, when I've bought it, let's say I bought it at 10 o'clock, I have actually received it early in the next morning. Like, no, that was an extreme example. I'm not far from Melbourne, so that isn't normal. I know that, but I was like, wow, to fulfill it that fast, go through fulfillment centers, the truck to bring it to Bendigo, and then, for the courier to bring it straight to my door within 24 hours is pretty extraordinary. I think it is anyway. And also quality control is outside of your hands. So really important that one of the recommendations that I'll always have as well is try and get a sample. Now, I didn't actually, for some reason, include it in here. I added heaps of notes of other things. But always try and get a sample. Now, it really depends where you're at in your journey, but please try and get a sample, 3 samples. Now, this will be going through 3 samples to get different suppliers and vet them, but also you want to try and get a physical sample, right? All the way from the packaging. Some can use better plastic packaging, some might use others. You want to see what their default is. Okay, it's like anything. You want to see someone's character, and then you can mold around that person. If you feel you can mold them into what you're after, fantastic. If not, walk away. Okay, so a very big part of this is testing, and it does take a little bit of time, to do it. But even if you buy the samples, a lot of them, $5-10, the sample is worth it. You can use it for content, but also you can determine which one takes your preference on a number of variables. The variables being shipping times. Okay, so one of the things like that, how long did it take them to fulfill it? How long did it take them to then to get shipped? Do you get tracking with it? All of those things make a big difference, because if you look at it from the lens of a customer, they want tracking, because heaps of people, especially 2 to 6 weeks, will be like, "Where's my order? Where's my order?" Right? You're going to get a lot of questions like that, right? If you can have it where it's automated, you can use like chatbots and everything as well, and tracking link, they can get an update. Otherwise, you might get disputes and stuff as well. Okay, so however, if you're starting out, I wanted to continue on and on a limited budget, then this is perfect for you. Use AliExpress. But as I said, try and get samples. You go to 3 suppliers and try and get at least 3 suppliers and get 3 samples. Now, I'm going to teach you how to start with 3 suppliers, but you might just through this strategy be like, all 3 of them are crap, move to the next 3. What you want to do is a 2-step. You want to find a good suppliers, then get a sample from them, and then see. It might take you a little go, but trust me, it's worth it, especially if you're planning to scale that product, because I've had so many supply chain issues and it's halted my ads, and then as a result, my ads are not the same. Okay, you speak to most people, especially on Facebook and all of that. If you turn your ads off or pause them, it can completely kill the momentum that you can't control. It's not just a matter of flicking it back on and the momentum's there. It really is not one of those things that works that way. Okay, but then you have Alibaba. This is a platform for established brands or brands to be more established that have more working capital. Okay, so a lot of people that start dropshipping legitimately don't have much in their bank, and that's fine. Whereas with Alibaba, you will probably at least spend $500, $1,000 on bulk order items, right? And so. And that's a risk, especially if you don't have the capital. So why would you spend it? So Alibaba is essentially AliExpress, but bulk items where you can have more control. So you work with the suppliers. As I said, many suppliers are both on Alibaba and AliExpress. They're selling the same thing, but either a bulk or single item order, because why wouldn't they? They want to get both worlds. It helps their business grow. You can buy in bulk, get discounts, branding, customization to a warehouse, your home, or a 3PL in most cases, right? So 3PL, third-party logistics, okay? But you can buy in bulk, you can do custom branding. To add your branding to it makes a massive difference. We all know branding, right? Customization. You might have something that might be unique that you could improve a product and bring something new to market, and that could be your go-to-market strategy. You look at a lot of the innovation out there. I look at how we went from you look at ChatGPT. Essentially, it's Wikipedia, and it's pulled in Google, and it makes it smart, and it just does everything for you, right? It's built on what is already there, but they're like, well, how about we make it even easier, where someone can just type in something, it scours the internet, blah blah blah. It's got smart, and now it's one of the biggest companies, right? So, point is, you don't need to have the most brand new product. You could literally just improve on something that's already there. And if you make it more convenient for someone, people buy into that. Everyone buys on convenience, right? Whether it's a want or a need item. People buy on convenience, and that's just sort of how it's always going to be. Who doesn't love a convenient, simple life, right? That's just an underlying across the whole world for the dawn of man. So much the same, but as I said, single items, and one is for large. Fundamentally the same. How you communicate with suppliers, they're different platforms in terms of how you communicate, because they have, one you get invoices, and the other more you pay for it as you go. So there is some differences there. The relationships you build on Alibaba are a lot more professional, I find, than I do on AliExpress, because the value that you have to the supplier or the warehouse you're going through is far more worth it, right? They would love to have a long-term client that is bulk ordering items rather than someone that does 50 orders a day for 2 weeks. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of orders, but you could get in one, it means less fulfillment for them because they just do one big order and they can send it off. And those clients usually come back time and time again, especially instead of drop shipping where you get a lot of orders, then it dies off. Okay, so very different perspective on value, and you'll find that there are a lot more open on Alibaba. But I know a lot of people will be starting on AliExpress and you migrate to Alibaba. So don't think that you should just skip that and go to Alibaba. AliExpress is fantastic, but I'm just sort of saying that I've found from my experience, you taken a bit more seriously and stuff because your value is higher. Right? It's just the reality that you'll find. You sort of speak to anyone. Now with finding them, there are so many. So how do you choose? Right? I don't really need to go through this. You make an account, go on, type in the product, right? The type of product, and find the first three that and filter it by reviews and look at their orders. Simple as that. Choose those three. Don't spend forever on it. They all have nice pages, especially if they have a lot of reviews in the orders. They'll have things optimized. Reach out to those three, and then you want to, because as I said, like I focus more on just reaching out, checking, because I work on the basis that I just want to work with someone established, see where it goes. I don't want to spend forever like looking through each of them because there's literally hundreds. I just start simple, go with that, and then I sort of work my way, and I do it in groups of three. So if I find three suppliers that I feel in my gut, right, trust your gut, that aren't working for you, then move to the next three. And again, because you're just looking at the orders and the reviews, it's just a simple approach. Okay, there's no magic there. So I made 2 templates, and I'm going to discuss them both fundamentally the same. But you put hi, business name, whatever their name is, show some respect. Always respect, especially in countries like China and stuff. Respect is a very big thing, showing that, not like, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this. They will engage, but it's a very different relationship as opposed to showing respect and understanding that gets you places, okay? People, who doesn't want to be respected, right? Simple psychology. My name is Ricky Hayes. I'm an 8-figure dropshipper is what I put here. I need to update that 8-figure. And I put, brackets and stuff, but I should really just remove that now because I made them into 2 templates. That is interested in buying products through you. And I'll update this a bit. And your company. I'm expecting, and again, I did this, so just ignore me. I didn't review all of this. At least 50 orders a day. You put 50 orders because that's a good number, right? Shows, if you look at the fact that a lot of dropshippers are usually probably getting, my maths is terrible. Now I've just, so 50 times, I think the average is about $33, I think it is. $1,600 a day, and you times that by 30 over, let's say, anyway, whatever. You get my point. It's a lot of money. And so that takes some serious, right? It's not like 1 or 2 orders where it's like, 50 is like, okay, that's some serious biz, right? Serious business. And I'm looking to scale the product and beyond. My customers are in the United States. You always want to say United States. That's the gold mine. Everyone wants to penetrate the US market. If you can penetrate the US market, that's where the money is. So you always put the United States. You don't put like Australia or something. You can, but obviously it depends on your business. But if I'm talking like I want to start on the strong foot, I'll say United States. right? I have a business, this is here in Australia, so I actually put Australia, but otherwise, if I really want to scale aggressively, US is just a significantly larger market. So for most of us, just put United States. Again, up to you, but I just, again, all the suppliers know that if they can have someone that's shipping to the United States, their chances of serious growth. Because I'll have heaps of clients that will already be in the US, and they'll see that the difference between US and Australia, let's say orders, would be day and night, right? The amount of orders you would get from America. You look at all the Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff. Are those millions upon millions in the hour screenshots from different brands, all from Australia? No, it'll be like 90% from America. Just look up some stats and you'll see that, right? But I need a supplier who has the bandwidth. I put the word bandwidth, but it's just the word that I use to make sure, or capacity to handle that many orders, can customize it, brand it, and I forgot actually, fulfill and ship fast. I want someone to fulfill same day, right? And I want, the item to get there quick, because one of the key things is, statistically, I saw this thing with Amazon or something, right? The faster someone receives the order, the more likely they are to buy again. Right? 2 to 6 weeks is a very long wait time. People will be like, because people know there's so many businesses out there, why would I go back to a business that has 6 weeks when I'd be like, I want my item now? Everyone wants things now. That's the day and age we're in. So make sure you put that in there. Ideally, I want a supplier who has a warehouse in the United States, so I can provide excellent shipping times. Excellent shipping and fulfillment times, pardon me. Whatever. Anyway, you sort of get it. To my customers, so I can build my brand out and scale more aggressively. And I'll add on here, which in turn would mean I place more orders with you. You give them the benefits. Don't just make it about you. Give them the benefits. That then gets you on the strong foot. So I'm reaching out as I'm interested in your service. You have the products I seek, but I need to know if we are a strong fit. Can you speak fluent English? Do you have WhatsApp or email to communicate as I move fast and need reliable communication? This is very important. I've spoken to many people from many nationalities around the world. I, obviously from Australia, speak English natively, and it makes a difference, right? And as opposed to someone that speaks a different language. If I was to speak Chinese as a separate language, I wouldn't speak it that well, would I? So always understand that you want someone with fluent English. Makes a massive difference, because you'll sit on the call and I've had people where they've had to get their other team members and they sort of translate, and I've had to do that in Debutify and that, for example, numerous times, just with partnerships and stuff. And I have no problems with it, but it makes the meeting longer, confuses things, having to put captions on. So it really, should definitely ask. It makes a very big difference. And you'll find if a company has someone with fluent English, they'll have a lot of clients in the United States, right? They wouldn't get someone that has fluent English if they weren't getting a lot of business from those regions. It wouldn't be worth their time. So you're sort of gauging to see as well. So you can look at the bit lower, if you look at the beyond the surface level, you can determine, okay, they have a lot of clients in the United States. Do they have a warehouse in the United States? Well, then yes, that they wouldn't invest in a warehouse or a partnership or something with some company in the United States if they weren't wanting to penetrate and grow in that market where they know that the money is, right? It's just simple. So what you're trying to do is always understand that I put these things this way, where you're also testing them. Make sure you're testing them, and I'll go through my notes on that. What is the best price that you can do for me? Always ask that. They're going to be like, oh, we'll have to wait, blah, blah, blah. But ask it up front. You want to make the deliverables and expectations clear. And do you have any warehouses? Pardon me, I've already asked that. Now, this is the part that is one of the key parts I've found that is actually the best. I would love to jump on a call to discuss with you further how to choose as we plan to choose our chosen supplier within the next 2 days. Put some number, maybe make it 3 days or something, but I put like 2 days. I want to see them respond fast. I want to see them book a call, and I want to be on that call, and I want to see if they're serious. They'll have read this message and be like, yep, this person's worth my time. If not, they won't. Move on. Next supplier. Okay. So in the beginning, what you want to do is you want to find at least 3 suppliers that will meet the criteria that I'll get through in a moment, and then get samples from them, because this is the whole process of how you find negotiate, and then vet them, right? Because once you get one good one, you might spend a little bit of time, but then you'll find that person is that it's just easy as pie. Okay. As we are in a strong position to capitalize on growth, scale, and have working capital to make it happen. Key thing is working capital is a very important thing. Using the word working capital gives people a lot of confidence because a lot of people don't have the capital, and then they're like, oh, they're unreliable. So saying the words like that makes a big difference. Capitalize on growth and scale. Who doesn't want that? They just see that as a lot of orders coming through and a client that's worth their time. And jumping on a call, they wouldn't jump on a call if they didn't think that you were worth their time. So make sure that you do that. Now, much the same for the Alibaba one, just change some parts. I'm actually not going to go through that, but just have a look at it. Change all this wording as you see fit, but this is sort of what I do. I don't send follow-ups. Never send a follow-up to them. If they can't respond to this and book in something within 2 days, not worth your time, right? Move on, right? You're given 2 days, which is fair notice. Obviously, if you do it on a weekend, don't be silly. Expect them to respond. I'm talking on a weekday, right? But the 2 days is fair. And so with that all said, make sure that you give them the 2 days grace and then otherwise move on. You want to find, as I said, 3 suppliers that at least make it through this first round where you can jump on a call and be like, okay, great. And then once you've jumped on a call and you have a good fit, get some samples. You want to get up to 3 samples. So you might go through 10, 15 suppliers, might take you a week or two, but then you have some great suppliers just using some simple tactics like this. So why do I ask these questions? One, I'm after prompt responses. My experience has always been prompt responses equates to someone being serious, responsible, structured, and reliable. Remember, reliability is key when shipping, especially from China, especially if you're using AliExpress, or even if you're using Alibaba, it still gets shipped from China. So you want to make sure that your 1,000, 2,000, whatever thousands or investment gets to the destination in ample time, right? Delays can, regardless, slow your business down. You can have warehouse costs. You can have port fees, basically, when they go to the port, because most of the time you'll end up doing it via shipment container. You do not do it via plane in most cases. It is absolutely insanely expensive and it will guaranteed not be profitable. So always do it via ship. That's just sort of the standard that 95% of people do. I don't know anyone that does aeroplane. I just don't think it's profitable. My experience, anyway, is the reliability is key, right? So you don't want to get angry customers. You will lead to chargebacks, right? That's why you're allowed to see a lot of the screenshots from like dropshippers and that. You always see like 3 or 4 chargebacks to review. That's because customers are not happy, right? And that's how a lot of the time you do generally know if there's a couple of indicators to know if someone's dropshipping. One, they don't have a lifetime value above like 3% or repeat customer, and they usually have quite a number of chargebacks. They get a number of orders, but their customers are not happy, right? So bad reviews, so you need to be proactive, right? This is very important. People want their shipments before they even complete their order, right? I'm not even joking. People have that expectation, and that's only going to continue to grow with technological advancements and efficiencies that we're going to see in the coming years across the board. So, and number 2, whatever language you speak, you need to be able to communicate, right? It's so important. Like, you're probably watching this because I speak English and hopefully I speak fluent English. Why would you watch me if I spoke Chinese and that you're an English speaker? You'd be like, well, I don't know what the hell this guy's saying, right? Even if there's the dubbing feature on YouTube, you would prefer to watch someone with their native language, right? So anyway, my point is communication is important. They speak English, but language barriers, they confuse things. I've had that many times, and the meetings get delayed, they get prolonged, and then you end up you don't get the product that you sort of expect. Imagine if you want very specific customizations. If someone can't understand and interpret that customization vision that you have is not going to come to reality. Okay, so very important that you do that. I find a lot of them use WhatsApp. A lot of them use WeChat, but I find that actually now a lot of them use WhatsApp. I speak with a lot of them on WhatsApp. By the way, if you need suppliers, I know a number of them, like especially with the Beautify Heaps of Suppliers, want to work with the company and do co-marketing as we do. So just hit me up on Discord or something, and because each of them have their pros and cons, and I'll just be like, hey, this one can be good for this one can be good for this, as well. Like it's just, as I said, like I get tons of them, honestly. Number 3, you want to go in with authority, right? So the as you could sort of see with that, it was clear, it was concise. The template's clear, concise. You go in with authority, strength, and confidence. This will help build the relationship strong from the start and get them to take you seriously, to get the best offers, discounts, and just reliability. Okay, very simple as that. You can change the template, but as I said, I just go with something like that. I just that's sort of how I do it, and I customize it per business, of course. But that's sort of the gist. Focus on the long term, right? Everyone wants long-term clients. They don't want someone that's going to get 100 orders in a week and then go away. Of course, they're going to take it, but if you want someone to take you seriously, you want to focus on the long term, focus on our projections, focus on our goals. We want to build multiple brands, all of that. They'll be like, yep, these people are serious, etc., etc. Okay. So many get ad hoc orders, so revenue is up and down. So they want reliable clients, so they focus on more reliable clients to grow. That's why Alibaba, you'll find people take you more serious there, especially as you use that more. You'll just find that the people that communicate on there are just they're geared for these sales. Okay, number 5, naturally, if you can penetrate the US, that is the gold mine. We all know this. So always ask that, as it keeps your customer, your customers happy, shipping times fast, and good quality product, right? And that's what I mean by, like, we'll get to that in a moment, is the number one way to get repeat customers. So with the good product, that's where after these, you get the samples and check the product. And what you can actually do is you can go back to them and say, look, what will it cost if, what would, you might not know the product that well. Ideally, you should. So if you do, say, what would it cost to make it out of this material? Or, hey, how can we make this higher grade cost? Get their suggestions, okay? They want more of your money. So they're absolutely incentivized. So make sure you ask those questions as well, because it also determines if they're a supplier that can do these types of customizations. It's another simple vetting strategy. Ask about branding. You always want to build a brand. Like every successful major brand in the world, branding is the number one thing they do. Across the board, it's just how it is, right? You look at a logo, I know the business. You look at the golden M, everyone knows what that is, right? That's how much branding is important, and they stamp it on everything. You should try and do the same, because that association associates with good brand reputation. You can then, for instance, yes, okay, you can use the Debutify theme to make your store gorgeous, high converting, average order value, conversion rates, all that crap. But it's a lot. What I'm talking about here is it's deeper. You need your product branded, right? The experience on the website is just one experience, but it's actually a lot of the time, not everyone's going to be on your website, but they're going to have that product most of the time in their home. They're going to be wearing it, and they want to make sure that the quality is good and that it has your branding on it. Like we look at Gymshark. I go to the gym, and I'll be going to the gym in the next couple of hours, right? And I look at it, and I'll see a few people with the Gymshark, just with the logo, and people wear it with pride because of the branding, what it represents, all of that, right? So make sure you do that. Invest in that. Don't just be like, try and sell everything. Your business won't last long term. What I'm trying to teach you here is something that's going to be valuable for you for long term, to provide sustainable, profitable income that allows you to sleep at night. So you need your product branded, instructions, thank you letters, custom packages, whatever it looks like that fits for your product. A satchel might work, a box might work. If it's a box, put your branding on it. If it's a satchel, put your branding on it. Put a thank you letter in it, right? And say 20% off your next order. It works wonders. Why do you think when you get Amazon, or let's say if you get Domino's, they have the things on the box and all of that? Because it works. Right? It works. These companies don't invest all this money in all of these various marketing techniques if it doesn't work. These people are not stupid. So, next time you go buy Domino's, see what they do and be like, that's how they do it, right? There's a reason that they plant their logo and everything all over everything that they can, because they know there's a lot of pizza competitors. Well, they want you to go to them, so they're going to give you offers. I get texts from Domino's all the time because every now and again I buy. All that experience is more than just a customer. You want to treat everyone a customer as if they're a valued friend, right? It just changes your perspective, not just a customer, but a friend, right? Who wouldn't treat their friend nicely? If you treat a customer, you get good and bad customers, and you're like, well, off my mind. With a friend, you care about them. You go above and beyond. You ask how they're going. Treat it like that. People love that. Who doesn't? I love being treated like a friend. Remember, building a business is an extension of building trust and rapport, right? You do that with a friend, don't you? You build trust, you build rapport. The exact same thing in business. Right, so that's why you ask about branding. It's really important. You want to determine if they can do branding as well. Most will, but you always ask. Some don't. If they don't, move on, because guaranteed, moving suppliers long term to a different supplier and then having to go through all the onboarding, all of that is tedious. You want to have someone, what I'm trying to teach from the beginning, that can provide you for long term for your needs. And a lot of these will also, as I said, have Alibaba, where you can do custom deals with them. And get bulk orders as well, right? And most of them as well, to be clear, if you want to try and get it off the books, they won't really want that, because they want the reviews. They want to show the orders because they know how important their review rating and orders is to get more customers. So respect that, okay? I've tried that and I was wrong, right? It tarnishes the relationship. Make sure you keep it on there, because they respect that a lot more, because it's a marketplace, okay? And they know there's a lot of other people that sell it. They want the way that they can leg up is get more reviews and feedback and stuff on theirs, because they know that that's going to translate into more business long term. Number 7, lastly, jump on a meeting, right? And I can't emphasize this enough. This is something I've only started doing in the last 6-12 months, whether it's Beautify, ecom brands, just networking, saying hi to people. Jesus Christ, what a difference. You want to build a brand, not a pop-up store. So, I used to avoid this, right? Jumping on calls. I'm introverted by nature, but it shows you how serious they are. If they book in within that 2 days, that means like you got their email, they're serious, they jump on, make sure they turn on their camera. Don't ask them. If they just turn on their camera, most of the time that shows that they're very serious. They want to have that face-to-face relationship. A lot of them over time will actually invite you to their warehouse. Right? Especially as you're scaling, they'll invite you to their warehouse. They'll invite you, they'll give you the VIP treatment. Take it up. I've even had it at times where they've offered to, pay for flights and everything as well. And it's awesome. I've been invited like with my Beautify, for example, to events in Vietnam, in China, United States. And that's all just from jumping on a call, right? But you get to speak to someone eye to eye, right? And that's the very important part is making the eye to eye contact. You follow your gut. Right? When you go into business with someone, even a supplier, it's like, think about it like you're getting married, right? Do you want to get married to someone you despise and hate, or do you want to get married to someone that you respect, cherish, love? Same with the supplier. I look at it like that, because then I'm like, well, I've got high standards that I want, and this is what I expect. Follow your gut. Some just won't mesh. Your gut, not mine, yours. It's your business. You follow your gut. Remember that you're building your business. No matter how much advice I give you, it's your business, it's your territory, your rules. You stipulate that, and you stipulate the people in your circle. You want like-minded people, because guaranteed cracks happen. I've had business partners in the past, great people, personally, business-wise, we just don't work, okay? And so, been there many times. I thought online that you can avoid people contact, which obviously you can, but in all elements of life, you really can't, and it makes just such a difference. As I said, I've been invited. If you haven't heard of Canton Fair, it's the biggest retail fair hosted in China. Pretty much every supplier will be there, and if they're not, they're missing out on a huge chunk of money. And then if you can, as you scale, keep in mind face-to-face. But anyway, point is, jump on the meeting, see how they are, and ask the same sort of questions as above. It's a great way of vetting, right? I've had many suppliers that don't jump on the call. It's whether because they don't speak English. Okay, well, you don't speak English. Cool, no worries. That won't work for me. Move on. 2, they forget to respond, and it's like after the time frame I've given, like 2-3 days. That's too long, right? Well, if it takes them 2-3 days to look at a message and respond, how fast are they going to fulfill it? There's 2-3 days there just to fulfill it. And if we're also looking at it's 2 to 6 weeks to get the item on average, well, there's nearly, 3 days is nearly, we're talking another half week. That's more complaints. I guarantee you'll get more complaints, right? And especially if there's someone seeing an item not fulfilled, they get even angrier. Everyone wants an item fulfilled usually within 24 hours. No joking, right? And then you can plant this on your website. You want to have, it helps with your conversion rates, right? Where you can have, your shipping delivery, or in your tabs on the product page, usual shipping times is X. A lot of dropshippers, put things to get the conversions, but it's actually a lie, and that's why customers get wrong. But imagine if you can be transparent about it. People want transparency. That's the biggest thing in building a business, isn't it? In anything, transparency. And so, if you can vet these people really well, like same day fulfillment, and let's say it's from the United States, 2 days, and you hold that true, that customer is like, They've provided a good product. They've met there were the things they said, but they would provide it within X amount of time frame. Good business. I'm happy. I'll buy from them again. It's simple psychology is what I'm trying to teach you. And so that's why you jump on these calls, look them in the eye, see how serious they are, talk to them, get if they're fluent, ask these questions, try and get the better deals. Say, what can you offer? Customization, what branding? Ask all these questions. Get them on WhatsApp so that then you can talk to them ad hoc, so you don't always have to jump on a meeting. But then also say, look, I would like to have tentatively maybe a fortnightly meeting to see how things are going, discuss things and build the relationship long term as well. These are all things that help you easily vet these suppliers, as I said, because if they've responded in 2 days, and they booked a meeting, that means they're pretty serious. If they jump on, speak fluent English, and then from there, I didn't add it in, but you want to then say, I want a sample of your product. And look, if they say that you have to pay for it, right? And I'm happy to pay for it, ideally with a discount, to my home address. Now, you do that for a few reasons. One, remember, you want to see their actual fulfillment time, okay? I just want to... because a lot of them, as I said, you're speaking to their sales rep. They won't be the people that are in the warehouse fulfilling the item. So it's a test. Do they actually say, oh yeah, we can fulfill it within 1 to 2 days? Does it take that? You treat yourself as if you're the customer. Does it take them that, or does it take them 5 days? Well, if it does, and this is a test order. A test order, they're wanting to put their best foot forward, aren't you? You don't go to some webinar or some sales event and someone try and do a crappy sales pitch, do they? They're going to put their best foot forward to get you through the door, and all the issues that are behind the scenes you won't find out until later on, won't you? So it's the exact same thing here, right? And so you get it and then see how long it takes to get. Now, if you're not in the United States and you're shipping to the United States, you want to know the average time. You can get virtual mailboxes, and I've personally done that. I use iPostal. There's Anytime Mailbox. There's iPostal. Costs you $10 a month, and what you can do is you get verified. You go through a notary. You have to do a bit of legal work. It's not hard. It's just a bit tedious. Have that, and it goes there, and you can actually see from when the order was fulfilled to then it goes straight to I choose as well Dallas. Is Dallas? I keep forgetting. Anyway, the central one that's in America, I think it's Dallas, because that if you can get it to Dallas, this is being the central part. I'm pretty sure it's Dallas. That it factors in all areas in America. So central point, it really tests it, right? And so if it gets it pretty quick, okay, good. I'm off to a good start. And then obviously send it to your home so you can actually physically feel it, see it as well, okay? It does cost you a little bit extra, but it really does make a big difference if you're looking at building a business. Spending $100, $200 to vet these products, get it shipped to you, does make a significant difference and will pay dividends long term, I assure you. So that's sort of how you can work around that. So again, you're sort of testing. Does it take that? And again, a number of times, if you push hard, they'll do it for free because they want the value. And that's why I sort of have this template up here where, 50 orders a day, United States, you're ticking all the tick boxes of all the things behind the scenes that they want. So that's pretty much how I sort of handle that. And then from there, you might take a few goes, but once you find a good supplier, usually, especially if you've had a look at their page and that, most of them, once you find the product, they'll have collections of that type of product. So you can build your business not just around that one product, obviously, but obviously all their variety of different SKUs that they offer as well. And there you go, the hardest part's done. And then a lot of those suppliers as well, their job is that they want to get all these items. And so you can say, hey, look, do you also have this for my new brand? Do you have this? Well, you've skipped the queue. So the first time it's always the hardest, right? But after that, it only gets easier because then they'll put you in touch with others as well because they usually get kickback too. They help each other out. It's like anything, right? B2B, you refer business to each other. That warehouse will refer business, a speciality maybe to us, and we'll refer speciality to them. They'll have that network. So what you're doing is you're also at the same time leveraging their network for future products and brands as well. So that's why I spend so much time really going down this process, and I spend quite a bit because once you find a number of suppliers that are really, really good, I'm speaking to, a few suppliers, they actually want me to make videos around them and stuff. But anyway, that's for another discussion. But they're always wanting to talk to me and stuff like that. And I just like talking and learning. But my point is that, like a lot of them, they're pitching me that they got fast shipping times, US warehouses, all of this. You can get commission, blah, 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 blah. So if I can help you with like any of that specific to your business, let me know. So I hope that has been helpful. As I said, this will be down below. Lastly, as I said, I have a Discord. It's only a few people in there, honestly. So, nothing extraordinary. But just if you want to join and just ask me any questions, more than happy to help. Also, for store building, my channel is more focused on marketing. That's my real speciality that I really just enjoy for this channel. There's a Debutify channel. You can focus on that. It's all big focus on AI, UGC, so on and so forth. And then I've also got another channel, one of my staff, where we're big on tools like N8N, AI automation to automate your business as well. Learning these key tools will really help you over the long term. So check those out if you want. Lastly, I've had people ask about, do I do mentoring course? No, I'm not. I really don't have the time. And honestly, I just want to make this. I prefer this. I don't want to make at this stage for a whole course. And mentoring. For the mentoring equivalent, jump on Discord and message me. I might take a while to respond, but I'll help. As I said, just my YouTube videos. It's really all you need. There's so much content out there. You don't really need these exact step-by-step courses, in my eyes, at least at this stage. But who knows? But right now, that's sort of pretty much where things go. I just prefer that because YouTube for me has been a game changer. Just making simple content like this, giving value back to the world, has provided me so much opportunity already. So I'm already pretty fulfilled and pretty grateful, honestly. But other than that, that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you did find this valuable. If you did like today's video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, ask any questions in the comment. Otherwise, join Discord and ask whatever you sort of want there too. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely day. Take care and goodbye.